Another moment, another time, another opportunity. Once again, we are meeting here on the Cardinal Talk Show. You know, when it gets to Sunday at time like this, all we do here is to talk cardinal points. Is to give cardinal information to you as our listener and viewer at the same time. My name is Nico Kello. I'll be here with the people I want to share with a lot that happened this week, politically speaking. And as you know, we know reggae came to its deathbed. Is it a pause? Is it dead? Is reggae virtually on a commercial break again? Proponents of BBI still feel there's a window to navigate even further. I don't know how. Those who are not supporting BBI are all over celebrating about the demise of BBI because they see an end to a 2-year protagonizing legal matter that has dragged in the courts for all this moment. And again, it's time even to get people who look at it in a very sober, neutral way. And that is why I have these two gentlemen here. And I'll start. The gentleman on my right has been lost for some time. He is a regular panelist here, but I'm told he's consumed with politics elsewhere. However, he's also a professional, and it's good to have you back, sir. Your name.
Thank you very much, Nick.
Yeah.
I'm Kennedy Otieno Osotwa from Homa Bay. Ndewa, Obwae, Ratanga. That's my home.
That's your home. Good. Thank you very much and welcome to the show. My senior on my left.
Thank
welcome.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you once again for having me on Cardinal Talk Show.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I was here, and it's a pleasure to again interact with our viewers. I'm Marco Witi, a lecturer and a consultant in communication matters.
Yeah, that's why I call him my senior, because they made this bed for us. We are now lying on it, and we are proud that they did a good job ahead of us. However, this is now time for us to delve so much into matters that happened this week. And I want to thrust everything immediately into the BBI outcome, the verdict. Yes, it's unconstitutional. The process was unconstitutional. From the judges talking about the basic structure to President Uhuru Kenyatta's immunity, to other aspects of the president playing as an initiator of a popular initiative, all these matters were actually dissected by the lenses of the legal minds at the Supreme Court. We, however, don't have BBI anymore. It's a music that has come to an abrupt end, like most of us expected or didn't expect. Yes, this is now the situation at hand. And I want to bring in Osutwa, who at one time was a senior officer at the IEBC, dealing with the matters IT. Was it IT? Thank you very much. And he knows one or two things about IEBC. We'll also get into that, whether IEBC is really pushing us too hard to have amendment to the law very late into this electioneering time, because IEBC wants manual transmission. Again, it's such, I don't know what to say about it. However, how are these things happening? It's now the end of BBI and the end of reggae. Is there any other way that this would be navigated, and what lessons did you draw out of this?
I would rather start by saying that it is not the end of reggae. When you are...
There's still some room again for reggae to play again.
When you are in a dancing hall, mostly in a disco, some of us grew up when the discos were really the common in town.
They're no longer there. I think they're there.
To me, I don't think that they're there.
It's because we've overgrown them.
Yes. During our time when you wanted to enjoy the discos,
yeah,
and maybe something happens and the disco stops and you are sent away, it doesn't mean that you'll never come back to the same hall tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So what has happened today is that somebody came out and challenged the process of BBI. Challenging the process came about because the judges thought that at some level we really did not go down to collect the views of Wanjiru, the views of Ojango, the views of Tieno. So they didn't really initiate it, and somebody else did, which is within their level of interpreting the Constitution. That does not mean that we may not really restart a new BBI tomorrow.
Something called totally new, not this one now.
It might not really be totally new. Even if you call it BBI 2, it is still a BBI.
Okay.
Because not that the document was bad, not that whatever it was bringing forth was bad. The court did challenge that. What the court challenged was the process of restarting it constitutionally, according to the Kenyan Constitution. So long as we restart the process, even today, and it goes back to the Wanjiku, the Atieno, and the Wafulas down there, then it comes up again. Even presenting the same document, if it comes back again, the court did challenge that. So long as the process and restarting it is done within the requirements of participation.
Yes, I think I want to rejoin on that.
Yeah.
What my colleague is trying to impugn. It's not good to say that BBI is alive.
It's dead.
BBI is dead. It is sad to equate it to reggae because reggae is forever going to be live music. People will be dancing reggae. Reggae can never stop.
Reggae will never stop.
Yeah, so to have associated reggae with BBI was a misfortune and a disservice to reggae and even to the reggae fans because they will continue dancing reggae even when BBI is dead. BBI is dead not because BBI did not have good elements in it, but we would look at it as a poisoned chalice. You want to achieve some selfish means, but you package it in a way that it is friendly to me. You're giving me poison that is sweet. That was the problem with BBI. And that calls into question, why was it that it was being fronted by the president himself or the presidency? Under normal circumstances, our constitution, what they would always call the framework of the constitution, it is Wanjiku who can initiate it.
A popular initiative.
Yes, and it must be Wanjiku, not someone who camouflages as Wanjiku. Right? So Wanjiku must actually suffer.
In this respect, just as we go on, in this respect, Dennis Waweru and Junet Mohammed were mentioned severally in these suits to have been the faces that actually represented Wanjiru. Do you think they don't represent Wanjiru?
You take Kenyans for fools to look at Dennis Waweru and Junet Mohammed, who are people who are flying in choppers and driving V8s, to represent Wanjirus. So there are Wanjirus and Wanjikus in this country.
So anybody flying in choppers and driving V8s is not about to be Wanjiku.
They are not. And that's why, even right now, as we talk about the BBI, people forget about the cost of living. There's a real person who is suffering there. They were real Wanjiku. And let me tell you the process that brings in constitutional amendment. It must be leadership that is executing the current constitution that must burden the people, the masses. And the people must feel the pinch of that poor leadership under that constitution that will make them start the initiative to change it. But if that is not happening, that the leader who is entrusted with the executive powers to execute the constitution becomes the first person to see the fault of the document that is executing, a document that he swore an oath to protect. That's why one of the judges said, you cannot play the umpire, is it the game and the referee at the same time?
Well,
now why I'm saying it is dead, so that I complete the thought. Why I'm saying it is dead. It's not the first time that an effort to amend the constitution is being brought to Kenyans. There was the Third Way Alliance who came up with the initiative.
Punguza Mzigo.
Punguza Mzigo. And it did not see the light of day. Yes, they collected the 1 million signatures, but when the time came to take it to the assemblies, which is actually politically controlled,
it died.
It died. Now, the owners of politics, or the owners of the county's assembly, have coined one. They've taken it and rushed it successfully into the assemblies. It has been approved by the assemblies, but the judicial processes have killed it. So we are seeing a scenario where anyone who initiates it has got the potential to lose it at some point. Even the Wanjikus can come with a process that they want to change, and because the politicians don't agree to what they want to change, they will kill them at the assembly.
BBI is dead, and you say this is just a lull before another storm of BBI comes. As he says that it's only those people, the real Wanjiku, according to him, the real Wanjiku is somebody who doesn't own a V8, cannot fly in a chopper, and that is his definition of Wanjiku.
No.
Are you in agreement with that?
No.
Yeah.
If today Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta is not the president of the country, he would automatically initiate it. If today UNET is not an MP from Migori and the Dennis Overus, he would automatically do it. Because this, what really brought the issue was the presidency. The position that whoever started it is holding. But I don't think that anybody who is owning a V8 cannot really start it. Ownership has nothing to do with the law and whatever we are talking about here. And that's why, to me, there is now a clear roadmap on which road the BBI is to follow. Remember, we were using the bulldozer to go through the road. And then, at some point, we realized that we reached somewhere that we could not really make it. We needed a D6, we had to get a D8, and now we know the roadmap. We now know the road that it needs to be followed. That's why, to me, it is not really dead. Remember, a seed, when you are going to plant, like right now people are planting at home, the very mahindi that you used to go and the seed that used to be the best for you, you used to keep it somewhere next to the fire. The reason why you are keeping it there is to make sure that it gets warmth. It would really go as if it is dead because of that smoke. That does not mean that seed is dead. When you take it down and you water it, you will get what you want.
Germination to another new crop.
BBI is not dead. Because the interests of the Kenyans that were collected and even those who passed it, they are still living with us. What we are waiting for is that somebody would come up one day who is not holding a position in this country to really bring it forth. And we will seriously buy it. Because I read the document. Remember, I was the one heading the secretary in Homa Bay County, the BBI. So I read the BBI. I educated the people about BBI, the people of Homa Bay. I didn't really know that starting it failed at some level. At the time we were propagating it and selling it to the people, it was a very good document. And I still feel
that's where the mistake comes in.
I still feel until today, Nick, that if BBI was to really come up as a document, not the process that it followed to reach where it reached me, because it reached me at some level, and I realized it was a very good document. So it is still docile now, but somebody, somewhere, in the next coming government, will wake BBI up.
You wanted to interject?
Yes. I said BBI is not a bad document. There are some things in it that were good, especially the aspect of increased allocation to the commission funds, exactly, and then the provision for ward development funds to the MCS. Because the person who is heavily burdened with daily expenditures and bad roads at the county level are actually the members of the county assemblies.
True.
So the ward fund was going to be a very great stimulant to the initiative of the development. That is one. But those are some of the good things that were packaged in a very long thing. Remember, there was a second schedule in the BBI that allocated 70 constituencies, which was a prerogative of the IEBC. Is it the IEBC or the... Yes.
It's a prerogative of the IEBC.
Oh, the IEBC.
The limitation of boundaries is squarely an IEBC business.
Exactly. That was a main agenda of the proponent of BBI, that he hid in the whole good document. Okay. So, because it is overwhelmingly voted out, when BBI is going to come back, I know it's going to come back minus those other things that were ruled against.
Pointed out.
It will be a good thing to support. That's one. Two, I want to tell my friend, Uhuru Kenyatta does not enjoy, even if he stops being the president, he does not enjoy the privilege of initiating BBI. Because as he retires, he will be on 80% salary. He will still be funded by Kenyans. But the proper way is, for the last 10 years, Nick, one tragedy that has hit this country that we have failed to recognize
is the emasculation of the civil societies in this country. The NGOs, the human rights organizations, people who would talk on behalf of Wananchi. These are the main guys that always push this kind of agenda. If NGOs are dead, then now the political class can see very clearly that they can suffer victims. But it is very hard for an individual to come up that they want to resuscitate BBI. If they want to do it, let them create that environment of a thriving sector of the NGOs that they can tell them, look, help us push this, educate the people there, because they're also in touch. Just like the MCAs, the NGOs work with the people on the ground. They form the best platform if they want to revive BBI.
Well, speaking about NGOs, I think during the multi-party clamor, there was an essence of all of them to be there. Their existence was verily something that actually touched the lives of Kenyans until we now birthed the new dispensation, got the new constitution 2010, and now NGOs became like lukewarm enterprises that don't really matter so much. However, I agree with you sometimes on that point. Back to you. Now, looking at this whole process, money was spent here. Resources were pushed in. You were at the Secretariat in Homa Bay County. Actually, you were heading BBI in Homa Bay County. The amount of resources that were pulled into this, is it even right to imagine what it is? Is somebody supposed to be held liable for having started something that is wrong? And as we go into that, think about what Attorney General Kihara stands to tell Kenyans at this level. In terms of resources, the amount of resources that was put in this, do you think Kenyans have lost like twice? Because losing BBI and losing the resources that were allocated into it means these people have just messed up the Kenyan voter, the Kenyan population.
I really don't think so. For one, is that the government has three arms. We have the executive, we have the judiciary, and we have legislature. I understand that policy formulation comes from the executive. The executive made the formulation according to the court ruling. It means that the president did something that to the judiciary it was wrong. The same thing passed through legislature. So one arm that's supposed to supervise the other is telling you at the tail end that this kind of cloth that you have been doing is wrong or is not tailored as per what we want. I really don't think that that will be what we are calling a waste of the resources, because they've participated. But they are coming to tell us at the tail end that all this process that you people have gone through from other arms are now becoming irrelevant, and hence they are not really worthy to face anything. To me, I really don't think that that can really make somebody become liable. Because if it was initiated by the president, did it go through the assemblies, which is another arm?
Yeah.
What did they do? They approved it. Now one arm is coming at the tail end and telling you know what? The two of you are wrong, I'm the only one who is right. Yes, we have accepted, and that's why we are saying BBI is not dead. The one arm that is saying is wrong has now given a roadmap on how and where to start and how it's supposed to go. Somebody somewhere, and not late within the year, will start BBI again. Because we can't...
You sound so optimistic. Is there anything you know that you don't know? Because, I mean, it's just 2 days ago that this thing was brought down to its deathbed. And now he seems to be speaking like this thing, there's also a plan tomorrow.
But Nick, they have given us now a roadmap. One arm, there are three of us here.
Yeah.
He belongs to judiciary, you belong to executive, then I belong to legislature.
Yeah.
Then now you have agreed, or we have agreed. Then now one who belongs to judiciary comes out and says, you know what the two of you have agreed on
It's illegal.
It's illegal, it's not working here.
It's unprocedural.
And he was here with us. They are not foreigners.
No.
If they fly in yesterday.
That is impugning
But now,
from the judiciary.
and now, because they are our children.
Are you pointing any accusing fingers at the judiciary for having done that?
I'm not. I'm only saying, they are learned friends, they have given out a framework, we will follow the framework. Whoever is out to do it will follow the framework now. We now have a marking scheme. So when we are setting an exam, it's not an exam that will produce our own marking scheme. We now know what to do. And within the year, BBI will be back.
This same year you're talking about?
Why not the same year?
Let me bring you this is serious optimism.
Why not? We now have the roadmap.
I don't think Kenyans are. I mean, do you think Kenyans will have another BBI?
If you give me a marking scheme,
Yeah.
and I copy the same marking scheme, and I send it to you, do you say I'm still wrong?
Do you think
Do you want to send another marking scheme?
Do you think Kenyans do want to go through another BBI? All this noise, even at the expense of the high cost of living you're going through right now?
If you looked at the reactions
yesterday
after the court ruling,
yeah,
majority of Kenyans were excited.
Yeah,
they were very positive about.
Who are the majority?
Yes, the Wanjikos. The political class were a bit sad, and I think he belongs there.
He belongs there.
And I really want to thank the judiciary.
Yeah.
Because the political class are arrogating themselves a lot of powers, you see, than the people who give them the seats.
So they must be checked.
They have to be checked. And it would be very wrong for my friend here to think that BBI is going to come up even the following year. We have not sat down and understood the billions that were spent. He has not told us how much he was given to
spend it on.
but I know it's a lot of money. You see, and that one was not only Homa Bay, all these other areas, the county assemblies, they were promised even cars, they were promised...
they were so promised, I remember.
Exactly. And by the way, if this thing would have gone through, they would still ask for those hundreds of billions.
Yeah. Who promised? Who what? I've talked about the three arms.
No, the propagators of the BBI are only two.
Yes.
There are two leaders.
Yes.
His Excellency, the outgoing President, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta.
He belongs to executive?
Yes, the head of the executive.
Yes.
And his brother.
Ndugu yangu.
Raila Amolo Odinga. Let me tell you, that is the only benefit that Raila Amolo Odinga enjoys.
No, but
when things are good, he can take credit.
Yeah.
When things are bad, he says, I'm not part of the government.
Yeah.
But literally, everybody knows.
One reaction.
Let him write on.
Everybody knows that in this country and the way this government is being run, there's a co-presidency of Raila Amolo Odinga and Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta.
What do you mean a co-presidency? Because the only co-president that we are not even a co-president.
Raila has to go. Uhuru is on record. How many times he calls and consults Raila Amolo Odinga before he makes.
But doesn't make him a co-president either.
He just doesn't sign. But a lot of his ideas are in use. And his people are properly remunerated in the process.
I had Wetangula say the same thing you say.
You can't allow to skip that.
You will interject.
Yes.
However, when you talk about Raila being consulted regularly, like Uhuru says, of course he admits that on many occasions they talk and they find ways, but it's difficult, and they're indeed brothers.
Yes.
So we know very well that Raila is not a co-president. Raila is not a
But you see, when things go wrong, that's when his friends run away.
Legally speaking, he's not a co-president.
Yes.
We know there's only one deputy president, William Ruto, and that is and that's the purpose. So for reasons of wanting to put Raila into the mix, the BBI brings him into the fore because of the handshake.
Do you know the first county that voted? The first county assembly that passed the BBI was Homa Bay.
No,
Siaya.
It was Siaya.
Oh, Rasangaman.
Yeah, actually Rasanga said that they didn't even read it. They only went there and
made
acclamation. Just come in and react to that.
What I need to react to is something that is known. The country is run by three arms of government. The president of this country is President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. He controls the executive. His name was never mentioned in the case because he is in the executive. We know other arms. The so-said brother of Uhuru, Raila Amolo Odinga, is featuring nowhere. Legally. In fact, if he's the one who started it, we could have counted him as Wanjiku. Why not? Because he's nowhere. Because in the case legally, his name is featuring nowhere. We are seeing the units and so on and so forth. And there was who maybe appointed them. I really don't think that the name of Raila Odinga is featuring somewhere. He is a citizen.
But
he
without Raila
a senior citizen.
Call it guys.
Senior citizen.
Let's hold the show.
Junaid Mohammed cannot even win an MCA seat.
Where?
Whenever, even in the whole, he can.
We are coming to that one, so we are back. Ladies and gentlemen, it's getting very hot here, and these guys are speaking it the way it is. You hear how things are happening. We're even getting more information about what was hidden in BBI, and it's intriguing. I wonder if Kenyans are ready for another round of BBI, because right now we are bogged down by the high costs of living. We are bogged down by a lot of very urgent matters to be addressed. BBI, I doubt if it's one of them right now, but the proponents are so optimistic. Once we are back after the break, they'll continue sharing with us the optimism. Well, welcome back wherever you are. It is, we were at the break, and things are really intriguing here. It's laughter. We are sharing hearty moments with the guests here, and they seem to be reading from very different worlds, and everybody is clinging onto their positions, which again is good, so healthy for the debate, but it also got some very humorous moments that it's gotten there. Now, we went to the break, and on that we left this moment here discussing so fervently what it was about the brothers, the handshake brothers and all that. And now we know very well that BBI is no longer there, and as it is, another BBI perhaps would come. But if nobody cares about it, it's gone, and gone for good. Now, in terms of our present politics right now, how has it impacted on both Azimio and Kenya Kwanza? I start with you.
Okay. Nick and the audience, I think the death of BBI is not very kind to the main political protagonists, both sides of Azimio and Kenya Kwanza, because naturally Kenyan politics is community-based. I don't want to call it tribal-based. It's community-based, and these communities have their main prominent point men. And every time you want to put them together for a political cause, everyone would want to ask that question: what is it in for us?
What's my share?
Yeah, what's our share as a community? Let me not just say, if I say what's my share, then it becomes selfish. Yeah, but literally, you aggregate the heads of these communities together into a group, we call it a coalition. For now, in the case of Kenya Kwanza and then Azimio. With the death of BBI, and my friend is still making it look positive that it can come back, which might...
He's very optimistic, very optimistic that it's going to be coming back.
Yeah, but I want to tell them that there's nothing like that. So you have to chew the ugali with the sand in it, as regards BBI. But politically speaking, for anybody who is joining any coalition, right, we have two main contenders for the presidency. And those are the people who matters most. It could be of benefit to them as individual leaders because they are assured of the executive presidency. BBI,
total power.
Total power. You only share with your friends on invitation. That's a very big loss because BBI, some of the good elements of it was to create positions that will always bring people together, whether it's held by one or two individuals with maximum benefits, but there will be there's that satisfaction from the communities they come from of representation. That is now not there. So we'll have to deal with the goodwill of the leader of the day, who is either Raila Odinga or William Samoei Ruto. And I want to tell our audience, these guys, the two of them have equal chances to the presidency. Let nobody lie.
that Raila Amolo Odinga is way so miles ahead of William Samoei Ruto. The presidency can go either way. But these guys will have lost because the coalition partners will have to crave. There's only one more position that the constitution provides for. They be the deputy presidency. But if you have 5 or 6 leaders that forms your team, then how do you deal with the next 4 or the next 3? That is something that the BBI was going to sort out. But that's also gone. 2, it's also going to make the leaders now focus, especially the Azimio leaders, focus their energy on the campaigns. See, right now, if the BBI was given a green light, right, then you will have to get divided attention on how to run the secretariat or how to activate the secretariat. So you also run your campaign. Right now, Raila Amolo Odinga is going to focus on running for the campaign, and his team running for the campaign for the. Of course, I know my friend here is also in the team of. You talked about BBI. So he's in the Raila team. At the grassroots level, they are always now going to focus on the campaign.
It was actually the secretary in charge of Homa Bay County for BBI. Actually, his office is the one that was used as now, you know, the center for BBI dissemination and civic education.
So he's a good guy. It means he's also prominent. He has an ear to Raila Amolo Odinga. Now they're not going to talk about BBI. They're going to talk about Azimio. Or ODM for that matter. So they're going to focus on what ODM is going to deliver or Azimio is going to deliver as Kenyans. The same thing applies to Kenya Kwanza. Kenya Kwanza is more hate with the death of Azimio again because every time they were on a campaign, they would talk about the proponents of BBI as selfish people who want to create political seats for themselves. You see, that one now is no longer campaign agenda. It makes it possible now for them to focus on what they think, even if it is that bottom up, whatever it is, type of economy that they want to implement. Yeah. They have to now drum and convince people that really bottom up is going to work, so we will vote Kenya Kwanza, or the social security, it's called what?
Yeah, social protection.
Social protection system, the 6,000 per month. For the vulnerable families,
the 6K.
The 6K per month is going to work, so we vote in Baba. So whichever way, I think the politics of BBI has stopped, and it helps Kenyans now also to only focus on the policies of the political protagonists.
Well said. Anything that you think it's good in terms of the political formations, both sides? I know you are from the K. I mean, Azimio la Umoja side. How has this one affected your position in the course of the campaigns and the political discourse that you're currently pursuing?
I just need to make it clear to my friend that and my senior that when BBI, the first court said that BBI did not really follow the procedures, what we required was a very simple thing, the format that it is supposed to follow. That format is now available. We now know what to follow. And that is why I'm still telling you that BBI will be back. Second question that you did ask is, how is it really affecting us?
Yeah, how has it impacted? I know you can talk biasly on about Azimio la Umoja.
Yes, to us, I don't need to be biased, but I need to be factual. To us, it is no longer an agenda for them, because all along they were talking about Samwaze sitting somewhere. And remember, they started by thinking that they would always win on their own. They also welcomed the Waze, including the ones who signed the BBI and said BBI was very good. I know you know that Mheshimiwa Mudavadi signed in the BBI, that it was very good. Now when the Wazes went, they now changed the tax and they now needed BBI so that they can also take care. But remember, that was not really our point of taking BBI. We, those who are this side. Remember, think about the devolution process and how much BBI was going to give to the sub-counties and what it would give to the wards. The percentage. That one carried the day. And that was the main reason why the MCAs passed it. Even if they did not read it or read only one part, that is immaterial. It was a good document made by lawyers. It is very wrong, really, to expect everyone to be a lawyer, a legal person, to really make a legal presentation.
So for you guys, what has it impacted negatively or positively for you guys?
No. Positive is that his death is making us now to concentrate. And now our opponent have nothing to really challenge us on. Because they were challenging us on that. And even as we are not depending on it, because we knew it was a short time, a very short time that, let's say that it passed, can we really go through referendum within the short time that's remaining? No, not possible. And that's what I'm saying, BBI will be back. Because we need to really look at the good things in the BBI. Anything else that could be the BBI, like the constituencies that were never balanced, that is on negative on our side. Mostly we, those who are coming from Lunyansa. Because we felt that it did not really balance the distribution
Yes.
of the constituencies. Those are now going to be taken care of. And remember, we are going to do it when we are very sober.
No.
Now,
Are you going to do it by BBI, or you are going to obey the court's ruling that the work of constituency delimitation is work of IBC?
It is the work of IBC.
Okay.
It's the work of IBC.
So it's not going to be the BBI?
No. It's the work of IBC. IBC has its own way. We only need to take whatever IBC will advise. Then we put it, and then we advise IBC also that a constituency like Dewa, that has over 100,000 votes, by the way. That's like a county in Northeastern. And it's run by one MP getting the same resources as one that has 20 or so.
Well,
so there are positive things in BBI, there are negative things in BBI. But positive is more than negative to the Wanjiku. Why? Because of the devolution. We don't need to look at power sharing only as the only negative thing, as my senior is trying to put it. That is just one. There are other good things. That is why reggae must be back by August.
Well, reggae will be back by August, according to the people who are proposing, and actually people who are farming the return of BBI. Now, I want us again to look at other aspects of this ruling. And Kenya has become a very litigious population. We are so litigious as a people right now. And how is this one helping our growth in terms of democracy, in terms of our economic growth, and social growth? I think we must now give serious attention to our judiciary and the role they are playing to nurture our growth holistically. Just chip into that.
I think I don't want to say that we are litigious. I want to say that we are friends of the court.
No, we're litigious. Before I even disagree with you, I'm promising you we'll meet in court.
We are friends of the court.
We
are friends of the court.
Before we disagree, we'll meet in court.
Yes, because God is our arbiter. Yes, our arbiter. One, why I really, and I want to bow down to the sturdiness and the forthrightness of our judiciary. They have not succumbed to the political pressure. They have not succumbed to the pressure of the executive. And enough times, our judiciary has faced a lot of intimidation, a lot of coercion, a lot of budget cuts by the executive. But they have maintained. In fact, a lot of people were worried and were concerned. They did not know the kind of verdict that the Supreme Court was going to deliver when it comes to BBI. Because it was heavily, on executive check. But they did their work, and I think everyone is satisfied, even publicly, even though reggae has taken a break. But even the people who are the proponents of reggae admit that the process was flawed. And then that means that our judiciary is the best, could even be the best in the whole of Africa. That gives the image of Kenya as a country, as a very good country. Our democracy is going to be more vibrant. Our leaders are also going to be aware that the judiciary actually keep them in check. So a lot of our politicians are going to keep off excesses, which is good for this country going forward. And even the investors know that a country like Kenya, if you come to invest, if there is remedy that you seek in the courts of law, then you will get justice. So they've actually made our brand bigger. Yeah.
Justice guaranteed.
Yes.
And that is what he says, justice guaranteed.
Yes.
What do you think now about our courts and how they're really trying to nurture us up as a people who are supposed to actually be so people who are up and awake to the fact that the judiciary is the final end of any disagreements, any disputes, and as an arbiter, they're doing their work well.
Judiciary are the custodians of the law. And for the record is that, as my brother is saying, they have maintained their cool for a while, which is very positive, which is giving investors confidence, which is bringing a lot of faith in courts. They have faced challenges, like my brother said, but I think that the Kenyan judiciary has gone beyond reproach, that so as to say. As much as some may say that we lost BBI, we did not lose BBI. It went through a process which I think took us and prepared us psychologically, until the end. And that is why I'm saying that they have given us a roadmap. This roadmap is what we were looking for. Now it is time now to do the right thing. And the judiciary has kept under the checks and the balances. I agree with the Kenyan courts and I support them for this.
Yeah, that is actually a thumbs up for our judiciary, for a good job done. At least there is hope that all can't be lost in the two arms of government. Where there are excesses, the courts will always be there to give us a diligent understanding of circumstances, and if possible, they can always adjudge to what is supposed to be very progressive for our nation. Now, let's check party direct nominations. Do you have one nomination right now?
For myself?
Have you gotten, because I know you are a candidate,
yes.
You are aspiring to be a
yes.
ward MCA in Lolwe County,
yes.
and you are in ODM,
yes.
and ODM is currently dishing them out. Have you been
that is a wrong word, that is a wrong word, Nick. Remember, we have just praised the judiciary, and we have said judiciary is doing a good job. They are interpreting the law.
Are you linking the two?
I'm linking the two because ODM has a document that is showing the people the process and how they're supposed to go. ODM has a law that's deposited at the registrar of parties that is indicating how they're supposed to get a candidate. No one has ever broken the law. There are processes of getting one. Does it mean we must only go through the universal suffrage? No. Yes. Even acclamation. We got our Asimio presidential candidate through acclamation. How many people support? Yes. How many people support? It is in law. It is.
What laws are these? I mean, when we fight to foster democracy,
yes.
When we all of us wake up to see our democracy grow,
yes.
And when we want to feel that everybody in the course of bringing this democracy is a participant, why would we also invoke other material ways of doing nominations that to some larger extent, cuts off the very people who are supposed to be participating in it, the owners of the party, who are the members of the party, into making serious decisions like awarding of certificates for candidates? Why do you just leave these people out of this?
Nick, you are talking about the law. How are laws passed in parliament? It could be done through secret ballot.
Yeah.
It could be done through acclamation.
Yeah.
Is it? So whenever way we pass the very, very laws that are taking care of us, at the same way ODM has never broken any law. It allows them, the law allows them to get a candidate.
Whichever way they want.
Whichever way they want, because they are following the law.
No problem. I'm coming back to you. I'm still, together with that, yes. Answer this.
Yes.
How then do we have to understand a party that has called in aspirants to pay for nomination fee, just like you did? You paid, and then you are like 10 of you.
Yes.
Then suddenly, after the day closes, you hear somebody tells you, no, you see what? You don't fit, we're returning your money.
No.
Why don't you?
No. No one has told anybody that you don't fit. You are going for a nomination.
In Wajir, this has happened. And we know for records, in Wajir, Mukhtar has been given the certificate for ODM against this other governor they've been fighting with for so long. I'm forgetting the name. But the reason was not even given. You know, and when you follow down there, you will get very funny reasons because they are talking about loyalty to the party. They'll talk about fidelity to the party. They'll talk about supporting the party leader.
No funny reason.
A lot of things.
Give me a chance to explain.
I want you to, together with that, explain these facts that are now coming out. Because, you know, sir, it cannot be business as usual.
In Kenya, let me take you back to history. ODM is the only party that does nominations the right way and makes it public early enough. We have other political parties that have not even done it. What we are now talking about, what does the law say about nomination or the primaries, the way parties are supposed to run them?
But how do you feel when Mbadi, who was vying for governorship in Homa Bay, is told, stop on your tracks, have your money back, we'll be giving Gladys Wanga this. And this one happens like a surprise.
I really don't think that somebody told my governor, then Mbadi, or my governor, now Gladys, to stop.
You will call her your governor?
She is.
As the governor. You don't know the kind of governors.
I need to make it very clear.
No, she's an aspect. I mean, you're coming in, also coming from home. I need first to educate Ken, I know you'll educate me, yes. But I want to remind you again that Homa Bay has only one governor, Cyprian Otieno Awiti. As at now, Gladys is only going to run for that office. She might not even be the governor. Who knows?
I'm still repeating. Once you are paid for the nomination for party primaries, whatever post you have gone for, yes, the name changes because you have already registered. Remember, the documents, the way you forward them to ODM, they will all come to IBC the same way. You don't present new documents to IBC. So it means it is a process, and the way it is going like that. What I need to make you know is that if the party, the aspirants can sit down and agree on what we are calling consensus, which is within the law, then we say that all of us here, the way we are 7, no one forced anybody, that we are 7 here, and we think that you are mature enough, old enough, looking at your records and the way you have been participating and all that, we think that you can present the aspirations of the people of Homa Bay. As a party, we have not broken any rule. Anybody who thinks that democracy has not really matured, there are other parties in Homa Bay. There's UDA in Homa Bay. There's Green Movement Party in Homa Bay. Yeah, there's even a chance for independent in Homa Bay. Now, the only time, I'm just finishing.
Okay, let me give you a
the only time when everyone is allowed to exercise their democratic right is on 8th of August. This was a party thing.
No problem. I mean,
this was a party thing.
I mean, you guys are.
No one was pushed.
I hope you guys are.
I hope they are going to give you the certificate.
Yes.
If they don't give you,
yes,
I hope that you will dance and shake the hands of your opponent.
Automatically, when party decides to give my opponent, I have no issue. Why? Because I paid for the party that I'll follow the processes of the party and the law that the party has laid down.
Yes.
So when my opponent is given, I'll tell him, my brother, go and do what we all wanted to change.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ron.
My point is, Nick, let us not vilify ODM, or let's not give ODM undue advantage of the airtime. Things are happening. In fact, we don't even know what is awaiting the membership of UDA.
Yes.
We don't know. But once you have filed with the registrar of political parties, which is a requirement for all political parties that are going to field candidates, the methods of choosing your candidates, you can choose any of them. Majorly they are about 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's mentioned all of them.
Yes. So whichever you choose, you should really, your members should actually be satisfied.
Yeah.
If they are dissatisfied, the good thing with the issue of
Right now, we're not even talking about ODM, we're talking about Azimio. In Nyanza, it was always cutthroat. If you don't get the ODM ticket, then you are out. You can go with independent at worst. And of course, I want, for the records, it's important to say that the people of Homa Bay have never elected ODM 100%. They're not foolish followers of ODM. They also reason, and even ODM knows, that the people of Homa Bay can dare you. 2017, they gave the incumbent governor, the outgoing current governor, the ticket to vie for the governorship. At the nomination, that was shambolic, and people felt that Oyugi Magwanga was their bona fide candidate. And Oyugi Magwanga went on independent ticket. And honestly, Oyugi Magwanga on the ground with vote beat Cyprian Awete. And not imaginary votes, it's the people of Homa Bay who voted Oyugi Magwanga as an independent candidate. The High Court sided with the people, the Appeals Court sided with the people. It's only the Supreme Court that overturned and reinstated Awete to serve his second term. But ODM learned a lesson. They knew it is possible to lose a seat in Homa Bay if you don't give them their wish. Now, for them to have decided to choose Gladys now, I don't want to say that they've forgotten about that wisdom. Maybe they did their diligent check, and from all the shifts and the parameters, they really think this is a candidate that can dare challenge that for that position successfully. And because they've not broken any law, any person who feels aggrieved by the party can still vie under the Azimio, because there are other parties there, or as an independent. The good thing is that democracy gives them a chance to make their voices heard at the ballot on the 8th of August. So we can, ODM generates a lot of passion because it's a dominant party and very popular in that region, and owning that ticket is like 40% into the seat.
Actually 80.
You think so?
It's 80.
No, right now it comes back to about 40.
About 40?
Yeah.
So it's not automatic now?
It's not automatic. But I think the party is doing a lot of due diligence.
Okay.
As I think my brother here also know. The way he's swinging on that seat, chances that he's going to be the candidate is also very high. And I wish you the best.
We wish him the best anyway. We wish him the best, and because of time, maybe we want just to give the parting shot.
Yeah.
Just a parting shot because time has run out. And just what captured your imagination over the week in less than 5 seconds.
In less than 5 seconds, I only need to say that before I go to that, let me just reply that in less than a second. Whatever my senior is talking about, the 2017, I was the chief agent for Joseph Oyugi Magwanga for the Homa Bay County. So I collected the data and I correlated them and I saw what happened.
You won.
The court proved.
As an agent, did your candidate win?
The court proved. The court proved.
He didn't win, the court proved.
You don't fix him because you cannot dare your father. You cannot talk facts to your father when he's looking at you.
The court proved.
Yeah. So give him a soft landing.
The court proved me as...
So as an agent, you didn't have anything to do with the results?
No, the court. You collect results, then you present.
Ken, you are the agent.
Yes.
You are the senior most agent for Oyugi Magwanga.
Yes.
You tabulated everything and also made records and you have the data.
Yes.
Oyugi Magwanga won against Awete or not?
Don't answer that one, just leave it.
No, I'm only
it's me. It's me who is doing the show.
Yes.
Kindly, for the benefit of the viewers.
For the benefit of the viewers, the court that was based in Homa Bay, which is High Court, proved. The court that was based in Kisumu, which is Court of Appeal, proved. But it was turned by
the court in Nairobi.
Yes.
But as an agent, you don't know whether you won.
The court proved.
So what made your week?
What made my week is settling on Homa Bay. Homa Bay was becoming hot. People started campaigning early, before even at the right time. And I think that it was very necessary, really, to settle on...
Gladys Wanga.
No, to settle anywhere else within Jacom's backyard, so that we really don't make a lot of acrimonious noise before that date, because we have a big war to fight. I really don't think that it's very necessary to fight the ward wars. You go to sub-county wars, you go to county wars. It is not necessary in Lowland.
Okay, you've gone over and above your time.
All those who are really out there,
with due respect,
they are fit to lead. Qualifications have been seen. We don't need wars at the backyard of Jacom.
Thank you.
Settle this thing. Let us go out and campaign for Jacom outside there.
Senior, get into the fray in less than 1 minute. I hope you will look at the benefit of time.
Yes, for me, Nick, and my friend, and even the Kenyans out there, and the leaders, there's a big cry. The cost of living is out of the windows. Wanjiku is suffering. Please address the issue of the cost of living. And it's not even just Wanjiku, it's not the cost of food. Even right now, Nick, if you had ordered for some cement to go and do some construction, if you had paid 600, the normal price, be prepared to add another 400 per bag. Cement is going at 1,000 shillings. So everything is very high. We want to plead with our leaders and the president and even the brother that intervene for the common Kenyans before they get to August to vote for you. Otherwise, we will start dealing with cases of suicides, domestic violence, because people cannot manage the basic needs at the household level.
Of what benefit would it be for us to go to an election with empty stomachs, with the kids in the house because we can't afford school fees, with nothing to put on the table, with our hustles not paying even for our lives, with the cost of this life going over and above the roofs? Is it necessary really, even as we do the politics of today, to go on and on and on and on, devoid of any reason as to how Wanjiku, who you want to go and vote for you, is even having something to eat, to even keep Wanjiku alive tomorrow, next month, and to others to vote for you? My feeling is, it's all necessary when it's necessary. In terms of priority, as a country, as a people, there are things we can mark as urgent, there are things we can mark as priority, and there are things that we must just do in between the two aspects. And this is lowering down the cost of living, making it possible for us to even get food on the table. I don't know how you speak to somebody who did not eat yesterday. I don't know how to speak to somebody to give you a vote if this person can't even take their kid to the school, if they can't even afford the very basic thing, which is food, leave alone shelter, leave alone even clothing. It is a time that we must wake up to the reality, and this must be addressed in the campaign rallies. This must be addressed into the cabinet meetings. This must be addressed even in any other forums, down from the wards, to the parliament, to the counties, everywhere and nationally. Anything short of this doesn't give us what we want for the August 8th elections. It would just be another exercise that Kenyans would really give a wide berth. We don't want that. We want credible elections. You want us to participate, do it for us. You want us to do something, do it for us as well. My name is Nick Okelo. Thank you for being with us. Thank you, gentlemen. I wish you all the best, Mr. Ken Osutwa, in your race in Kwagwai Ward. My senior here, who is a lecturer, please, when you also go out there, just do something you can to make this thing come down. For you, the viewer,
thank you.
It's been nice having you along. Till we meet again next Sunday. God bless you.